How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today's video is just about that little one gremlin that you've got hidden inside your head that's trying to tell you that alcohol is a good thing in your life, that you shouldn't quit drinking alcohol, and that it's not doing you any harm. Now, the gremlin itself, right, is just a figment of our imagination. It's not a real thing, but it's a part of our minds that it's good to think of in this way, because it sort of separates the alcohol drinking behavior from the behavior that you want to achieve in your life, right? So, looking at things from this perspective, I always thought about it like the Gollum out of the Lord of the Rings. That snivelling little weak individual thing, all greasy and horrible. He started out being a normal boy, which we all do, boy or girl, and he ended up being this little monster. And that's the way I saw it. It's just this thing that was going, please don't quit. Alcohol is my precious. And most of it is driven by fear. There is a lot of fear attached to quitting drinking alcohol for us, as individuals. And this voice in the back of our heads is doubt, right? And there is a conflict between us, the people that want to do the right thing. We want to quit drinking. We want to make sure that we lead a good life and have a good life. But at the same time, we want that instant gratification, and we're afraid of what's going to happen once that instant gratification is taken away from us. That way of releasing whatever it is, our tensions, our problems, the way of forgetting, the way of relaxing, the way of socializing, etc., right? Now, the gremlin, or the Gollum as I like to call it, it doesn't like change. That part of you doesn't like to get outside of its comfort zone, right? It doesn't like growth. It doesn't like any movement forward, because that growth takes it away from what is natural, right, and puts it into something which is unnatural. Now, I'm not talking about natural and unnatural in a physical space. I'm talking about it from the perspective of you as a person, right? Quitting drinking alcohol for you is not a natural thing to do, right? So when I'm talking about the Gollum, he just likes to stay in his comfort zone. He likes to stay in this little, nice, tight, safe bubble, which he knows he's not going to be hurt, right? You're not going to be hurt, right? There's no danger. But there is a danger there. There's always a danger, because it's a danger of stagnation, of not only stagnating and becoming just a defeated nobody, nothing, your life just not going anywhere. You have a danger of regressing, right? Of going backwards in your life, of not only just going backwards and being somebody who you used to be, but just falling backwards and falling downwards and doing behaviors in your life which are detrimental to your spirit, to your hopes, to your dreams, to your progress. I mean, we all want to progress in our lives. We all want to do better, I mean, there isn't one person out there who doesn't want to get up on a Monday morning and feel like they have something more in their lives than they did the previous Monday. Whether that is money or something that they have in their possessions, or I think for me it's more something in my mind, and many people think the same way. It's having a knowledge that wasn't there before, understanding something a little bit better, understanding somebody a little bit better, and all of these things are progressions that the Gollum is afraid of. We all have to make these progressions. Like I say, if you don't make the change yourself, then something else will make the change for you. Life, circumstances, other people will force change on you. So self-directed change is the only change that is that's valuable in life. Anything else apart from that is change that's forced on you, and that's a change that taking you in a direction that you might not like. So the golem doesn't like change because he feels that all change is taking you in a direction that he doesn't like. He's not in control of anything. The only thing that he's in control of is this whiny voice, this trying to beg you to stay the same, to try and keep the status quo going as long as possible. One of the tools in the golem's arsenal is when he's trying to stop you from quitting drinking, is to tell you that moderation is a good thing. To say that moderation is possible. Moderation is not only possible, it's the best way to go, right? Even when you've quit drinking for a while and you've gone through a month, 2 months, you'll still find this little golem weaker, but there at the back of your mind saying, it's time now to go back. You've proved that you can do this, you've proved that you're in control of alcohol. You're in control of it now. So you can go back now and you can moderate. You can only take a few drinks on a Friday night and you won't drink anymore because you're strong. And at the end of the day, it knows, that that's not going to happen. You want to believe that it's going to happen. You want to truly believe that this is the way forwards, that moderation is the way forwards. I've done this so many different times, convinced myself that moderation was a possibility. Moderation was the only way forward, and that alcohol wasn't the problem at all. It was me that was the problem. It was my behavior that was the problem. It was the amounts that I was drinking that were the problem. It wasn't the fact that I was taking this toxin into my body, because after all, it was only Guinness. It was this stuff that gives you health. It was this stuff that all the Guinness adverts that I'd ever seen in my life, that was the way I'd self-propagandized. It was the way that I'd bullshitted myself into believing that drinking this slop was good for me, from the time that I started earlier on until I finished, and until I had all the problems associated with drinking. And I was still telling myself bullshit right up until the end. And finally it copped on that the only way that my problems were ever going to be sorted in my life was to quit drinking altogether, to get this toxin to stop intoxicating my body altogether. That was the only way that this was ever going to happen for me. The reason why this moderation message works, right, is because at the end of the day that the moderation is only going to last for a certain amount of time, and then you're going to be back to square one again. You're going to be going back to where you were before. So there's no change for the golem. There's no change for that person. You take a moderation trip, you take a couple of weeks to have your little game, and then you come back and you act like normal again. But the problem with this type of thinking is that the moderation, the space between the moderation gaps, it becomes wider and wider, right? You get back to the drinking again, and the space between the time that you even consider moderation again becomes wider and wider. The moderation itself becomes shorter and shorter, and eventually what you have is a way of thinking that is completely affected by your failures to moderate. Your self-confidence starts getting hit, your self-belief starts taking a battering, and you start to believe that the bullshit that you are a drinker, that you will never be able to quit drinking, that drinking alcohol is going to be a part of you forever. So don't listen to the golem. The best thing to do is at the beginning picture the golem and picture how it's going to be when he is dying. You are literally strangling him to death. That's how you should take this. So look, I'll leave it there. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Take care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth. Onwards and upwards. Take care. Bye now.